Hello, everyone. Welcome to the show. This is Franz Sidney. Welcome to an amazing time that we're going to have today with an amazing holistic coach and hypnotherapist. In fact, she's called the Hollywood hypnotherapist. So, hello, Maria Freeman.
Hello, hello. How are you doing today?
I'm having the greatest time of my life thinking about this summer that is gonna come. I know this episode will come in April, but we're like in the end of February, so still cold and thinking, oh, summer, come over. Summer holidays, relationships, good weather, just a kind of an amazing thing. But I realized that not a lot of people are very excited in this moment because maybe they have a problem. It's not just the depression of February, especially in the UK when it's kind of doom and gloom. It's maybe having depression in your own house, being very sad and feeling that everything is great. And you know why this happens? Sometimes it happens because your current partner, husband, wife, is emotionally not available. It's not quite open to you and you find it really difficult. So today I wanted to go down a little bit deeper in this problem that we mentioned before. But how come that sometimes you are dating an amazing person or you're married and then they're not really opening up and you realize you're like on your own and this person is there but it's not there. And Maria has so much knowledge about this. So I thought I would ask her to talk about what are the problems that happen and what is really behind a person that is not emotionally open to you.
Yeah, it can be extremely lonely actually, and especially if you're living with this type of person. But even if you are just dating them, it can be extremely confusing as well. Maybe you can even feel like, oh, maybe I'm doing something wrong. Maybe I did something. Maybe I said something. But in reality, it has nothing to do with you. It has to do only with their childhood and their issues that they faced as a kid. And now it's just like a subconscious program that just shows up in any relationships in general. And it's it plays a role of a basically like inner monster that is hiding inside. And on a subconscious level, tells this person that, oh my God, don't open up, maybe they will abandon you. Don't open up, don't say this, maybe they will hurt you. So it's basically like a fear that people normally don't even understand that they have. And
I
then,
agree.
yeah, and then they normally sublimate it and they use uh, all kinds of addictions, alcohol, corn. I don't know if I can pronounce this word correctly, watching women or like, doing some destructive stuff, something that can distract them, which is obviously not helpful and just causes more issues in the long term.
Right. And do you think that there are many people who are suffering from this impossibility to open up?
I think right now, especially yes, and especially in big cities like Los Angeles, New York, um, because for some reason, I don't know when historically we kind of chose the wrong path in a sense. It became like a number one path for humans to choose work over relationships. And now it became more and more of a necessity, especially in a big city. So in our childhood, we could observe a behavior even of our parents who needed to uh, survive or prioritize career to afford even, a school or something like this. Times change. And now it's even harder. So when you are a kid and you are growing up in the house where two parents they cannot interact with you as much as they should basically to attend to your needs, you're feeling abandoned, you're feeling lonely, and then you're closing yourself off from the world and from your wife or from your husband because you don't want to feel this pain again in the future. So you don't want to repeat this pain that you experienced as a child. And this is basically trauma. And it's possible to fix, but most of people just don't want to face it in a sense because it's scary to really understand what is going on, what is underneath, and to really open your heart up to the world and to the people.
So there are lots of not scary, scared people who are thinking, well, if I'm opening up, if I'm vulnerable, this person, my date, my wife, my partner, will not like me, will not love me, might reject me. So basically, as Marisa Peer, my trainer, always said, it's like you're thinking you're not enough. Because if you open up, the person will see who you really are, and to you, that's not very good. So you're actually self judging yourself. And then you're thinking, well, I don't dare do that because this person is going to go. So that's quite a vicious cycle. And people don't realize they're doing that. So that's quite a self fulfilling prophecy then.
Yes, it is a cycle, and the saddest part is that sometimes they can just run from one relationship to another relationship because the grass is always greener. It's kind of a theme actually for them because they basically normally, by the way, relationship with them, they escalate pretty fast. So they get into a relationship, they're coming in very, very strong. They're very excited. They can even open up at the very beginning a little bit, but then kind of this fear builds up because now it's a real vulnerability. It's a real thing. Now you actually have to open up. Now you actually have to show who you truly are. Now you're living with this person. And fear can start to creep them in, basically, and then they start closing off more and more and more and more and more. And then they start to look, oh, maybe this woman is better, maybe this man is better, because it's just a thrill, it's just new emotions. So they again don't have to open up, basically, because this relationship already creates a lot of discomfort for them. But it's all happens on a subconscious level. They consciously do not even understand why they start to, look, I don't know, check dating apps or something like this. But this
Yeah.
is
So you
underneath.
see this husband or wife who is always texting or playing games with somebody else, or he's just absent, watching a show. They bring work at home. I remember many years ago, one of my friends got married, and then he said, well, my wife works in a call center, and when she comes home, she's on the phone with her friends for hours on end. So we don't get to talk. And I thought, how weird. Surely she wanted to spend half an hour with his husband, but she wanted to do exactly what she was doing at home. So that was maybe a form for her to be emotionally distant. I don't know what was the story behind, and it doesn't matter. But I wonder if there is a way to identify this and understanding what's going on. Is it possible to talk directly to our partner and ask them, or is that going to be too confrontational?
So, very big mistake that women have a tendency to do, and this is a very frequent cycle, and many therapists would call it avoidant anxious cycle. I don't prefer to put a label on a person like, oh, this person is anxious, or oh, this person is avoidant. I believe that we all have like a spectrum. We can be a little bit avoidant with this certain person, a little bit more anxious with this sort of person. People trigger different things in us as well, different traumas that we carry. But what I frequently see, if there is one person who is avoidant, another person should be anxious. Anxious is running after avoidant, avoidant is running away from anxious. Anxious person would try to cling to this avoidant. Talk to me, explain me what is going on. Kind of, if they even for 5 minutes are quiet, and sometimes they needed to recharge because their nervous system is overwhelmed basically from people. But anxious don't understand it, because for anxious it's like, oh, something is wrong with me, I said something wrong. They feel guilty, they feel ashamed. They feel like, oh my god, I have to fix the situation right now. If I don't fix it, this is panic mode. And it happens also because of trauma. So normally, if there is avoidant in a couple, and normally there is also anxious in a partner. So I would recommend anxious partner to start working on themselves first and foremost, if they have avoidant partner. Not trying to change or fix avoidant partner, because people don't like being fixed, especially if they don't want to.
Of course.
People, yeah, they will just give you even more resistance. They will just separate themselves even more. So the more normally anxious person push, the harder they push, the more avoidant wants to run away, a person who is more avoidant. So I would literally recommend a person who is more on the anxious side, just chill, go to therapy, go to hypnotherapy, reach out to be, work on your traumas, work on your subconscious programs, release your anxiety, release your insecurities, believe in yourself, give yourself a lot of love and support, and notice how your avoidant partner will start to become more interested, because now your energy and your focus is no longer going only to them. You need to loosen it a little bit. And because they want to see that actually what they want underneath is for you to just let them go a little bit. And this is how they will come back. The more you let them go, the more they start coming back. The more you push, the more they run away.
Hmm.
And it's hard sometimes, but the only way to go here is to really work on yourself.
So, okay, so what if none of them wants to go to therapy because they think the other person needs
Is
to
the
see a
problem.
specialist?
Yeah, of course. This is a common thing. Well, people love to play in the game, blame game, but there is no resolution. Like no one wins in a situation where two people are just blaming each other. If they want to live in this relationship where nothing gets resolved and they're just both being stuck, then let them do it. No one can fix anyone unless it's you.
Right.
So even I used to work with a lot of victims of even like very serious abusive relationship. No one can change your life but you. Yes, the problem is a person who is abusive, but you also need to work on yourself even to leave because you need to find your self-esteem again. You need to find who you are again. You need to live and rebuild your life. So no one is a powerless victim here and another person is oppressor. It's never like this. No one is a victim.
Hmm.
You are a survivor always. Even if you ended up being a victim for a moment, now you are already a survivor. You need to, thrive out of this situation, like rise like a phoenix.
Right. And, when I came out with this idea for my podcast 4 years ago, almost five now, I wanted to call it the Phoenix Show. But then I realized I could never pronounce X and S. Phoenix Show. It was going to become a Phoenix Show. So I never
So,
did. But that was the idea to understand that we can be reborn from our own ashes and create something new and beautiful. But we have to light that fire. We have to jump in and we have to sometimes change, and change always makes us suffer. I wonder if there is a major difference between couples that are now 50, 60, 70, and the couples that are now between maybe 20 and 40, because I see a lot of, especially Gen Z, this is not criticism, but something that in the psychology world you see a lot. We want these quick and instant, easy solutions for everything. So a lot of times you see people dating once, twice, three times, and if they see that things are not as they assume them to be, they go. Or they get married, and within a few months they divorce because there is a problem, and we don't really like to do the work to solve the problem. And so it's easier just go with somebody else. That's why people also live together. It's way easier. When you want to go, that's the door, and you just go. You don't have to go through all the lawyers and the thing. And I wonder if a little bit of emotional laziness is behind being emotionally unavailable, thinking, oh, well, if there's a problem, he should fix it. She should fix it. I'm not going to do anything because that's too much for me. Is it too much an emotional toll? Are we too used to the consumerism attitude now that everything has to be good straight off? That's, I'm asking you in your experience.
so number one thing, I don't believe that change should be a scary thing or a hard thing or a long thing, by the way. Like you can change pretty quickly if you know right tools. And like I literally teach people how to make really rapid shifts. And it was like my journey and my story, how to find something that works actually fast. We have a fear though that it will be a long, terrible journey. We can have a resistance in our body that
Mm.
changes, like you got to suffer in order to change or something like this, but it shouldn't be this way. So this is like number one thing. It's just an illusion. It's a complete illusion. And especially now, like 21st century, there's so many different tools in psychology and in spirituality that you can find that will bring you really, really fast transformation. And when it comes to difference of generation, so I believe that there are a few things. Number one is our problem with like digital world and consumerism in the sense that Gen Z and like younger generation I think it's up to 45 years, at least in Los Angeles. It's still considered to be very young generation because
Right.
especially men here, they're growing up after 45 on average. And many men and women, they use dating apps. And dating apps is it's a big problem because you're just swiping and swiping and swiping and swiping and swiping, and all it gives you normally an addiction because it releases dopamine all the time, and you become addicted and hooked. And instead of actually building solid relationship, you're just waiting for another high, who you can meet, with who you can talk, is this person better, blah 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 blah. uh, but at the same time, I wouldn't say that this is just a laziness. I believe that this is a combination of trauma that once again kids experiences in their childhood with emotionally unavailable parents, or parents who maybe were emotionally available but they didn't have an opportunity to spend a lot of time with their child or being very emotionally attentive to their needs. So they were hanging out with nannies or by themselves sometimes because two parents have to work. And then these adults, they're growing up, these kids, they're growing up, they're becoming adults, and they don't understand how to really bond and build relationship anymore. Because before, once again, like older generation, uh, phones didn't exist at the time. Smartphones didn't exist. You have to interact with people from the street, especially like in Europe. We had this playgrounds and all this stuff. Kids are running around normally and growing up basically on the backyard of someone else's house. So it's kind of more organic, natural flow, I believe. And I notice how, in general, older generation, they talk. You notice in restaurants, they talk with each other a lot. And younger generation, they're sitting in their phones in front of one another. People don't really interact. People don't really get to know each other, even or strangers. It's super rare when people meet organically nowadays in general, especially once again in big cities. So it's a combination of trauma. It's a combination of uh, limiting beliefs that people might have as well, like, oh my God, maybe I'm not good enough. Oh my God, maybe there is someone who is better. Or some men maybe, try to understand if they're even ready. This is another whole thing. Am I even ready to become a part of a family? Am I even ready to build a family? Am I even ready to start a relationship? uh, and with my also Russian background, I believe there is some sort of difference between Los Angeles and Russia. So in Russia, men have a tendency they have a desire to get married. They have a desire to have a family. Now in Los Angeles, I noticed that most of men, they're not sure. So there is a lot of uncertainty. Like, can I even handle it? Am I even ready? So this kind of emotional unavailability, it's also partially, I think, coming from in Russia, kids, they're hanging out. They're still all the time together, if this parent cannot take care of a child, even the moms normally they stay at home. So there is less emotional unavailability in general.
Mm.
But then if there is not a mom, there is a grandma, there is someone else's mom. So there is still kind of a community, and they're basically growing up family oriented. Versus in Los Angeles, two parents are working, you're sitting with nanny normally, and it's not that bonding. It's not that level, I believe. And then it's just really hard to be vulnerable, to open up.
Yes, because you want that connection with your parents and to be able to talk about things and talk about your problems.
Yeah,
So,
or sometimes even just you need a hug. And most importantly, you want to be open, you want to be honest with your parent, you want to be authentic.
mm,
And authenticity is extremely important in general.
mm,
And people, the problem with in general emotional unavailability in this like avoidant attachment style is that people think that they are okay and there is something wrong with you, but in reality, they're just entrapped. And they don't even understand how consuming this entrapment is because they cannot open up not just to their spouse, but to themselves. This is the biggest problem. And in general, our spouses, our partners, they're the biggest mirrors own traumas, of our own obstacles. And if we are truly willing to open our hearts up, if we're truly willing to be vulnerable, we can learn so much, and we can even heal without going to therapy. If we can just open up, if we can just be honest about our feelings, about what we're going through, what we want, our needs, our desires, without being demanding, without being, oh, you didn't do this, you didn't do this, but just vulnerably say, hey, I actually love you, and it hurts me so much that you cannot, I don't know, organize a date. Not, what was the last time when you took me on a date? When was the last time when you did this? Oh, and you didn't do this and this and this and this. No, I'm hurt right now that you didn't take me out in such a long time. I would be so happy if you can bring me flowers. It would make me the happiest woman on planet Earth. But it became such a trap for such a long time. Normally for people, they're scared to even be nice to their partner. But you just need to start.
It's a big problem, and so many couples are now in counseling because I don't know, we have such a weird way of growing up nowadays, and we are isolated. So we think that social media is putting us together, but sometimes social media achieves the opposite effect, and we end up being all isolated. And some people have been dating AI people, let's call them people, entities, and some even tragically committed suicide because this 16-year-old boy really wanted to be together with this, and AI told him, oh yeah, let's be together. And so we're not even attached to reality. And also, let's say when you go to these dating apps and you scroll and scroll, and oh, you're going to look for the most good looking person. But normally speaking, if you're looking for a person that is fitting your values and everything, it's not the photo that will tell you what the person is like. It's maybe a list of their hobbies, a list of the things they do, maybe talking to them. So when we scroll and we look just for the photos, we're just deciding inside that if a person is good looking, they're going to be good as well. And that's the end. And if it's not exactly what we think it should look like, then we have to scroll past. And maybe there was the most fun person to be with, very caring, very smart, full of service, full of good qualities, intelligent, hardworking, but we don't see that because we just scroll and look for maybe what YouTube or Instagram tell us that we should look for, the fake woman with a big long eyelashes and huge endowment on the front, very thin waist, long legs. But does it mean that all the women who are short have thick legs, maybe they have bushy eyebrows and a big nose, they cannot make you happy? And where is the evidence? There is no evidence. So we're starting with a limiting belief. In the very moment we jump into these apps, we are looking for a world that doesn't really exist, because most women, once they wake up in the morning, they don't have makeup, they don't have anything attached, their hair is not done, they will look different from the Instagram photo. So, yet to go.
Yes. And dating apps in general, they can be even dangerous. You never know with who you're interacting. And because you didn't meet through mutual friends, as example, there is no guarantee that this person is not a psychopath. That you don't know. I've been to crazy dates in Los Angeles, after which I don't use dating apps anymore because it's, you never know. And the second thing that I realized about dating apps is that instead of going out more often, instead of, showing up, instead of smiling, maybe even at a man that I actually like, that I saw on the street, I just know that, oh no, I have an app. I'd rather scroll because it's easier. Because there, I just swipe right. I don't have to put myself in a situation where potentially I can experience rejection. And it's also coming from my own fear of being rejected. So instead of working on my fear of rejection, I'm going to dating apps. And especially for men, it's important to understand that you're sitting on a dating app because there is a certain fear in you that doesn't allow you to go and explore like other options that are literally available for you around the corner. And instead of approaching a woman that you like, instead of fearing this, instead of potentially experiencing this rejection, you're choosing dating apps. And for men especially, it's extremely, extremely bad situation because it's like a muscle When it comes to rejection, you need to build this muscle of being rejected, to not take it personally, to continue, keep on going, and it will build your confidence. And this confidence will help you not just in dating, not just in a relationship, but in your work, everywhere. When you're not afraid that someone can tell you no, when you're not afraid that someone can be even mean to you, you're still gonna do it. You're still gonna be nice. You're still gonna take it a shot, give it a shot.
Mm-hmm.
But for women as well, it's important that you're open to the world. You're not just sitting on your phone. There is actually men available. The only thing sometimes that you need to do is to just look at them.
Yes, because also sometimes men, if I find a woman they very like and they think she's a little bit higher as a financial status or looks, they assume she's never gonna talk to me and maybe she liked them, but they don't talk. So it's really interesting how we set all these expectations and standards and then we end up messing around and not really knowing the person. It's really sad. So if you go in closing, any good tips for a person who is facing this problem? Maybe they are emotionally not attached to their other half, or maybe their own spouse or boyfriend is not emotionally there. What can we do?
So for them, if they understand that this is a problem, I really would recommend them to reach out to me or any other person who works with trauma, subconscious blockages, limitations, and who would help them to identify the core issue and just release it. Release any trauma, any childhood issues that they face, and basically reprogram their subconscious mind to feel worthy, to feel like they're enough, so that they can open up and so on. This is number one recommendation for 100% because you don't have to face everything on your own and it can be scary once again. But when it comes to them, if it's just them, then I would suggest to be by yourself, face your demons, face your emotions. You can learn your emotions. This is actually a really good skill because many people just don't know how to even name their emotions. What am I feeling right now? They don't know. So there's some for kids on Amazon. They sell tablets. You can buy this literally tablets for kids, like worksheets and stuff like this about emotions. And you can learn your emotions, how to name them, how to pronounce them, how to identify them. This is number one thing. So then the second step, communicate your emotions. You're going to learn communication skills as well. How can I explain to my spouse right now that I'm feeling overwhelmed? As example, you understand that you're feeling overwhelmed. I'm feeling overwhelmed right now. Could you please give me 5 minutes? Then I'll come back to the room. We can continue this conversation. If then they're trying to have a conversation or something and it's not going well. So it's literally a process of learning emotional intelligence, basically, and who you are. So this is probably another tip. And for women or men who are dealing with avoidant partners, I once again would suggest them to work on their own stuff and their own anxiety, especially if they're having a tendency to run after their partner, trying to fix their partner, trying to do something for their partner. Uh, the most important thing here is to focus on themselves, on their own uh, healing journey, on their own education, and as well. Emotions, learning about emotions can be also really, really good thing. Also, communication skills can be a really great thing. But also, extremely important thing is to find probably new hobby, interact more with your friends. Find something else where you can redirect your energy instead of chasing after your partner all the time and trying to fix them. So yeah.
Hmm. Yes, I can just visualize this person running after the partner. Come here, I'm gonna make you a wonderful woman. Oh man, I just it's
Yeah.
ridiculous, but sometimes we're all trying to be fixers of other people. We can only see the problem of the other people. We can't see our own problem. That's fun. So well, there we go. I'm so glad that you came over, Maria, because we really touched a topic that can be quite a hot topic in a family. It can even create separation or even divorce. So why not tackle this problem now and think about what we can do, fix ourselves. And we always say if you are in an airplane and there is turbulence or the airplane has a problem, put the gas mask on you. then turn and help the other people. Because if you are not doing well, how on earth can you help the others? So it's going to be always
100%.
right. It's a chance to take responsibility. So thank you so much for being here, Maria. Did you want to say any final words before we go?
Thank you. Yeah, you can find my information on mariafreeman.com or in my Instagram, maria.free.man. I have available free masterclass for people. There they can learn everything about subconscious reprogramming, how to do it fast, how to change their life rapidly. And yeah, they can book free consultation as well on my website.
Fantastic. So anyone who is not only Los Angeles based, but probably able to
Yes,
use Zoom,
worldwide. Yes.
they can always contact you. So thank you so much, Maria Freeman, the Hollywood hypnotherapist. Thank you for being with us. And everyone, make sure you share this episode with somebody who might need it and might want to have this advice just now and put it into practice so they can create the life that they want. Take care. See you all next week. Bye bye.
Bye. Thank you.